What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Power Gamers Tactics Room. I'm your host, Bill Braun Bafflestone. So today we're having another episode of my review and rating series, this time looking at the Battle Master. This will kick off the 3 parts of the Battle Master segment of my larger 28-part fighter series. And today I will be looking at the class as a whole and getting an overview. Tomorrow I'll be doing a deep dive into its abilities, looking for optimization leverage points. And the day after I'll be doing a character build series where I put it all together and show you how I would build a Battle Master. Before we begin, I wanted to mention that I have a Patreon now, and I actually have patrons. So this is the first video that will be released early. And if you want to see the videos without commercials, because I'm going to be monetized soon and they're going to be putting commercials on there, feel free to check it out. I also have a Discord server that I started for patrons where we're going to be talking about all things D&D and philosophy, because believe it or not, I'm a trained philosopher, and so I love to talk about that stuff. So if you want to support the channel, join the Discord, feel free to check out the Patreon. That said, let's take a look at this Battle Master and see what we got. So at 3rd level, when a fighter officially becomes a Battle Master, they pick up 2 powers. One is Student of War, where they get a tool proficiency of choice, and the other is Combat Superiority, where they get 4 superiority dice, which are D8s, which power 3 maneuvers, and they get 2 additional maneuvers at 7th, 10th, and 15th level. All of these superiority dice are regained after a short rest, and the superiority dice is added after the hit, so a lot of control over when you get to use it. And whenever a maneuver calls for a saving throw, the DC is 8 plus proficiency plus your strength or dex modifier. The tool proficiency cracks me up, if I'm being honest, because if I think of a Battle Master, the first thing that comes to my mind are the Spartans, who were the greatest military power of the ancient world. They didn't lose a battle for over 300 years, and they were fearsome warriors because they basically just enslaved all of the people around them and made them work and give them stuff so that they could train in battle all day long. So the Spartans were Battle Masters, and what do they think about tool proficiencies? Let's take a look.
This is a surprise.
Silence! We heard Sparta was on the warpath. We were eager to join forces.
If it is blood you seek, you're welcome to join us.
But you bring only this handful of soldiers against Xerxes? I see I was wrong to expect Sparta's commitment to at least match our own.
Doesn't it? You, there. What is your profession?
I'm a potter. So.
And you, Arcadian, what is your profession?
Sculptor, sir.
You?
Blacksmith.
Spartans! What is your profession? See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.
So yeah, your Battle Master gets to be a smith. Okay, great. That has absolutely no impact on your combat abilities, but I did think that was funny. So more importantly, combat superiority is amazing. They have 23 available battle maneuvers, which offers an insane variety of abilities with a huge impact. Precision shot makes them the highest DPR archetype in the game when paired with sharpshooter or great weapon master. Precision shot is amazeballs, and of all the maneuvers is a total must-have. You can't be a Battle Master without precision shot. That thing is amazing, and I would even consider a signature power. So Battle Masters are short rest hungry, especially compared to the new Rune Knight and Psy Warrior, who have kind of like a similar approach to their powers, but they get way more at the beginning. So Battle Masters do need short rests, but that said, those are pretty easy to come by, and the game is calibrated for 2 short rests per day, and at 2 short rests per day, they do have a solid number of uses. Now, the Battle Master is hugely front-loaded, so it makes for a fantastic dip. So their third level power set is pretty strong, and so this could possibly make them the strongest archetype in Tier 1 and 2. We'll see. I have yet to rate the Echo Knight and the Eldritch Knight and a few of the others, but the Battlemaster is very impressive, even though it does scale poorly in Tier 3 and 4. Because two of them just increase the die size of their superiority dice, and like the Psy Warrior gets that just as part of the third level power set. I did briefly want to show you the 23 battle maneuvers that are available. I'll talk about them more in depth in tomorrow's video when I do a deep dive and talk about how to optimize them, but this is a review and ratings video, so I just wanted to throw these on the screen to give you a basic idea of the ones that I think are really good, which are Ambush, Brace, Commander's Strike, Disarming Strike, Grappling Strike, Precision Attack, of course, Quick Toss, Riposte, and Trip Attack, and then the ones that I think are really bad, which are Commanding Presence, Sweeping Attack, and Tactical Assessment, and the others are, pretty good. You only get a limited number of these though, so I would definitely start with the blue ones. And when I rate the Battlemaster's third level power set as a whole, I have to rate it superior. It's just so versatile and so powerful that I don't think there are any better, and the only ones to my eye so far that seem in the similar power range are the third level powers of the Echo Knight and the Eldritch Knight, and all of the others are worse. Some of them are only a little bit worse, like the Psy Warrior and the Rune Knight, and some of them are a lot worse, like the Arcane Archer and the Banneret. Moving on to the 7th level power, the Battlemaster gets Know Your Enemy. 1 minute observation of enemies reveals intel on their combat abilities, whether they're stronger than you or have more levels than you or more hit points, stuff like that. And this is very unimpressive. It's kind of hard to use and get that 1 minute of observation, and you gain very little useful information. It's not very granular, and so I really don't see this coming into play too often, and I don't see it having much of an impact when it does. That said, I do like the flavor of it, and as a DM, I would make it cool. You can't count on that, but I think that if you were to do something like make it every round that the Battlemaster just learns something about the opponent, like, an immunity that they have, or a legendary ability that they might have, or, stuff like that, then I think it could be cool. But rules as written, this is just so bad. And so when I rank it up against the other 7th level powers, I have to rate it inferior. Only the Banneret's power is equally bad, and all of the others have a better power. So we move on to 10th level, and we see that at 10th level, the Battlemaster gets improved combat superiority, which basically means that their superiority dice is bumped from a D8 to a D10, adding on average a +1. And this isn't that great. A +1 on your superiority die actually is pretty solid in bounded accuracy, depending on which maneuver that you're taking. But when I stack it up against all of the other powers available to the other archetypes at 10th level, I have to give it a rating of poor. I find only the Samurai has a power that's in the similar tier. I do think that the Arcane Archer and the Rune Knight have it worse at 10th level, but all of the others have it better than the Battlemaster besides those three. Moving on to their 15th level power, the Battlemaster gets Relentless. If they start a combat with 0 superiority die, they get an additional 1 and start with at least the 1. This is another unimpressive bump that will rarely come into play because you're not often going to be forced into a battle with no superiority dice. I mean, you'll just take a short rest. So in certain scenarios, the DM's not going to allow that, but as a regular thing, I just don't see it happening. Short rests are not that difficult to come by, and so I give this a rating of poor. I think only the Banneret is worse. I think only the Arcane Archer and the Champion are in a similar tier, and I think the others are all better. The final power they get at 18th level is Improved Combat Superiority again, and this time the die is bumped from a D10 to a D12, another +1 bump. And for a capstone 18th level power, This is a very minor bump. Again, I have to rate this inferior, and in fact, I don't even think there are any others just as bad. I think it is clearly the single worst 18th level power that any of the fighter archetypes get. And so when I look at the Battlemaster power suite as a whole, I do rate it good, because that 3rd level power is superior and just so good that it drives this archetype and is a really strong option that offers really great gameplay levels 1 through 10, but it doesn't age well, and it doesn't get any other good powers after 3rd level, and honestly, once you get to 10th level, you are probably not going to be nearly as effective as you used to be. Other archetypes are starting to catch up and be better, and you are probably pretty bored with the Battlemaster at this point, is my guess. So that's it. That's my impression of the Battlemaster. It's a really good archetype that I think is a lot of fun to play and can be very effective in the field. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow's video, where I am going to do a deep dive into its abilities and look for optimization leverage points. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Power Gamers Tactics Room. I'm your host, Bill Brian Bafflestone. See you next time.